All right, so they have to keep you thinking, keep your brain occupied. We have 4 types of subsequent expenditures to know about: repairs, additions, improvement, replacements, and rearrangements. Got it? Okay. Ordinary repairs, those are pretty easy, so let's look at those first. They're generally going to benefit one accounting period. They're your, replacing minor parts, adjusting, repaint, clean, just things like that. So if you're maintaining the current level of benefits. However, sometimes you get major repairs. If you are a homeowner or a car owner or a truck owner, you kind of know this. And those major repairs sometimes are capitalized because they benefit more than one accounting period. And they can be treated as an addition, an improvement, or a replacement. Okay, so obviously judgment calls there. Okay, so ordinary repairs expense, if they're bigger than that, you may have to decide whether they're capitalizable. Okay, so additions. Additions are, you're adding a new major component to an existing asset. So you could add a new wing to a building. That's what you think of as an addition. Okay, add a new wing. You put in a new air conditioning system, or maybe you add a refrigeration system to a truck, install a security system. These would be all additions. And these, you capitalize all the costs of, procuring them, getting them ready for their intended use. And then they get into these little details. I probably am not going to ask you this because I think it's kind of silly, but, that's just my opinion. If you're doing an addition and it includes removing an existing wall, if the wall removal was planned, then you can capitalize it to the cost of the addition. But if somehow you forgot the wall had to be removed, then you have to expense it. Okay, maybe these things must happen because they're here. But anyway, just mention it for what it's worth. Okay, so with additions, you're going to capitalize all the costs, getting them ready for their intended use, and then they're depreciated over the remaining useful life of the original asset or the addition, whichever is less. So if you had I think you would be given that information in a problem, but you have to keep in mind you can't depreciate an addition longer than the life of the building, okay? Okay, so that's your additions. Improvements and replacements. Replacements, you're basically getting a new one to replace an old one that's about the same. So you're replacing electrical plumbing, or putting on a new roof, replacing it with what was there before. Improvement, you're maybe doing upgrades, okay? So that would be an improvement. You substitute a better one for a, better new one for maybe this new technology or whatever. Okay, so the main issue, a lot of times you have to distinguish your improvements and replacements from routine maintenance. So like, is replacing a roof routine maintenance, or is it an improvement? Okay. So, and then let's see. So you have to look at the basic principle, which is what you have to keep in mind for all of this. If it's increasing the future service potential, you capitalize it. If it keeps the same level, then you're going to expense it. Okay, so they give you 3 ways to account for improvements and replacements. The first one is the substitution approach. This is where you know the carrying cost of the old and the and you obviously know what you're paying for the new. So if you do know that, then you just remove the old asset from the books, take off the asset, take off the accumulated depreciation, and you're good to go. You put the new one on. But a lot of times that information is not available, because if you're doing say you're upgrading an engine or replacing an engine, usually that has not been depreciated separately from the truck. A lot of times your various systems in a building have not been depreciated, especially in a smaller business, separately from the building. So you may not have that accumulated depreciation for your particular, the particular replacement. So in that case, you would just capitalize the new cost. In other words, you forget about what the old one is on the books for. You make the assumption that if you're replacing it, it's probably pretty much fully depreciated anyway, so we'll just let it go. And so you simply capitalize the cost of the new improvement or the replacement. Okay, so that's when the carrying value is really not known. Okay, now, what else can we do? Oh yeah, then there's this one. This is the third way to account for these improvements and replacements. If all it does is increase the useful life, it doesn't increase the quality, the quantity, all of that stuff. If it just extends the life, then you would debit accumulated depreciation. Okay, that recaptures your past depreciation. The asset stays on the books at the same amount, but it just recaptures some of that depreciation. Okay, so you're decreasing the accumulated depreciation by the amount of the improvement, and that is only when it just extends the useful life. All right, what else do we run into here? Rearrangements. Oh my goodness. You haven't bought anything new, you're just rearranging things. So maybe you're rearranging the office. Rearranging machinery of the production line. So they don't necessarily increase the future life, but they can increase the quality or maybe the quantity of what can happen. So if these are material and you know the cost, you remove the old, record a gain or loss, record the new on the books. If you don't know the cost, which is the usual situation, you simply capitalize the cost of the new and depreciate it over the periods benefited. Okay, so I've tried to summarize some of this, and this may be helpful. It might be, I don't know. But yeah, so that's pretty much your subsequent expenditures, and the next thing we have to do is to dispose of our property, plant, and equipment.